I'm Jackie Schooler, and I'm originally from Tonganoxie. Moved away for a few years, and I'm back now. So it had been 21 years since I had been out here. So when I walked up today, it was just incredible to see how everything had changed. I think I was a junior in high school when I met Kent. I was working at the grocery store here in Tonganoxie, loading people's groceries, and Kent was in there buying groceries one day. He said, "Hey, I need some help out at my farm. Are you interested in a second part-time job?" And I said, "Oh yeah, sure. I love being outside. I love working outside." And so I said, "Yeah, that'd be great. Where do you live?" And so he described this corner, this place to me, and I was like, I think I know that house, that great big old stone house. So I said, "Yeah." And so I gave him my phone number, and I said, "Well, give me a call and let me know the details of what you are interested in." So I came out here a week or two later, and he showed me around. And at the time, he had horses out here, he had cats, so many flowers, and this huge open yard. And he said he wanted somebody to mow the grass and water the flowers and just help him with stuff around the house. And I said, "Oh, sure." And I, at the time, just really saw the outside of the house, and I thought, it needs a little bit of work. He's got his work cut out for him here. And then as I worked with him over the next several months and I started spending a little more time inside the house, I thought he was clear crazy. There was so much work that this house needed. I don't think it had really been kept up, as far as just modernizing it, but as far as the general maintenance. So, I mean, he had just so much to do here, and I thought, he's crazy. There's no way he's ever going to get everything done that he wants to get done. But he had this vision, and he had so much in mind that he wanted to do. And so I said, "Well, come out and mow the grass. That's fine." So I spent probably 2 or 3 days a week, 4 or 5 hours a day out here just mowing, just doing yard work. The mowing was just unending. He had a big golf course mower. I think it had like a 60-inch deck on it. So, I mean, I wasn't mowing on a small mower. I was mowing all those hours on a huge mower and just would mow for days. And I loved it because, I was a teenager and I was outside in the summertime. It was perfect for me. And he always told me not to get the mower stuck. And I said, "Oh, I'm not going to get the mower stuck." So the first time that I got the mower stuck, it was like the walk of shame coming up the driveway. And I had to tell him that I got the mower stuck down in the ditch right next to the road. And he just laughed and went and got a chain and pulled me out. And I said, "Well, it's the last time I'll ever get that mower stuck." And about 2 hours later, I got the mower stuck. And this time I got it stuck down here on the corner. And we had to stop traffic to get the mower out because it's two major roads. Well, not major roads, but two of the county roads, speed limit's 50 miles an hour. So we had to stop traffic to be able to get the chain all hooked up and pull the mower out. And, oh gosh, I was so embarrassed. And he's never let me forget that, that's for sure. But it was really neat, some of the other things that he had me doing. The carriage house out back, if you guys noticed the archways over the garage, those weren't there when I first started. I remember he and I, with the circular saw, just right in front of the carriage house there one day, cutting the arches to put up there. And I remember thinking at the time, why would you want to put arches on a garage door? It just didn't make sense. And now that I'm out here and I see it finished, it's just beautiful. It's amazing. And so for him to think of that and have that idea, that concept in his mind, and to be able to do it and put it in place, it's beautiful now, and it works, it fits. And another thing that we worked on was the brick along the sidewalk in back and the driveway here in front. We went down to Ottawa, Kansas, about an hour south of here. We took my pickup down there one day. I'm not sure why they were giving the brick away or where it came from, but it was old brick. So he and I went down there one day and filled up my whole pickup bed full of bricks and came back here and unloaded them. And I thought, well, what crazy idea does he have now to do with all these old bricks? I mean, they were broken, they were rough. And so he and I, we put sand down, and he put up the borders, and so we started fitting all this brick in, this old vintage brick, and filled it all in with sand, and so that was something that I never would have dreamed that I'd be doing at 16 years old out here, And now it looks beautiful over there, and it looks like it's been there forever. And it's something that he and I pieced together over a few days back then. I think Ken's favorite story, though, is when I house sat for him. I don't know if you guys have heard him talking about that, but he used to go out to Colorado frequently. His mom lived out there, and so he'd ask me to watch the house while he was gone. So this was, I think, probably in the fall or the winter, because it was darker quite a bit more. And it was during the school year, and I was always involved with sports and activities at school. And so one night, it was getting to be kind of late, and I was coming out here to pick up the mail and feed the cat, and it was dark. So I came out here by myself, 16 years old. I come driving up the driveway, and I had my radio on. I wasn't thinking a thing of it, and I parked my truck, and as I got out, I was thinking, wow, it is really dark out here. It's really quiet out here. I thought, oh, well, this is my responsibility. I need to get up there and feed the cat and take the mail in, check on the house. So I go walking up to the back door, and I unlock the door and open it up, and the cat just goes flying past me, flying out of the house. And I jumped, and that cat was gone. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? The cat is out. It was completely dark out, and I didn't want to be out here walking around by myself looking for a cat. And I thought, well, I'll wait for a few minutes. That cat's hungry, it'll come back. So I came in the house, and I put the mail down and put out the cat food. I'm kind of waiting and waiting. The cat's not coming back. And so I went and I sat down in the sitting room here in the front room. I thought, I'm just going to make myself comfortable for a few minutes and wait for the darn cat to come back. And I swear that house, all of a sudden, just the old feeling just set in, and it's like everything just went silent. And I'm sitting there, and I could hear every creak and every groan of the house, and I'm getting more and more nervous. And I thought, okay, I wonder why that cat took off so fast. So I thought, I think I've had about enough time waiting for this cat. So I stand up to go, and as I'm walking by this big staircase here in front, I look up, and I swear that I see Cora coming down the stairs for me. And I was just as fast as that cat. I took off out the door, and I jumped in my truck, and I was gone. That cat was outside on its own for the rest of that night, because I wasn't hanging around anymore. And I never came back out here after dark after that. I was so scared. But it's just such a neat house. There's so much history here. That it's been around for so long, and the family that built it, they have such a story, and the people that have been here over the generations, everybody has left their mark on the place. And when Kent came out here, I thought, this is a lost cause. There's nothing you can do to salvage this place. But what he's done with it in the last 20 years is it's amazing. It's beautiful. And to see all of his visions come to life has been amazing. So it's been a really neat experience for me to have seen it 20 years ago, and then to be back now and to see everything that he and Olga have done with it. And I'm just really excited to be able to see it all come to fruition the way it has. I think it took me a while to come around and admit all of that. So, and I didn't know anything about Cora. I didn't know anything about the house at that point. And so I just told him, oh, yeah, the cat got out. Cat was scared. And and then he asked me one time, he's like, oh, have you ever seen Cora? I'm like, well, who's Cora? So then he told me all about Cora and the history. And I was like, yeah, I think I've seen her before. And I'm a pretty level-headed person, and so I really don't know what I saw that night, but I don't know if it was another cat coming down the stairs, but he believes it, though. He's positive. There's been several people that have seen Cora out here, and I think maybe she's out here keeping him company still. I think the front staircase up here, and I don't know why, but there's a front staircase and a back staircase, and all the time that I worked here, I always used the back staircase because it's the closest to the back door where we would bring everything in and out. So I think today is probably maybe only the third time I've even used the front staircase, but it's just, to me, it's just so grand, and it's so beautiful. And the wood on it is just, it's not like something you see in Tonganoxie, Kansas. So to me, it's just kind of it adds to the grandeur of the house. It's so beautiful, and it just makes you feel like you're not in Kansas. I think our community is just so blessed to have them. I don't think anybody else could have done with the house what they've done with it. It was a beautiful old stately house to begin with, but for them to add to it what they have, it's unbelievable. And so I think the community is just so lucky to have them, that they took the time and energy and expense to do what they have to restore this house, to bring it back to its original beauty, and to want to preserve that and maintain it. It's just so amazing that somebody would want to do that. And yeah, the time they've put into this, it's amazing. I ramble, I'm sorry.
No, that's fantastic.
You
That's
covered all of our questions that I would normally ask. You just got them all answered.
Sometimes you just get blessed with that interviewee.
Yeah.
Already has all the answers.
You can let them talk.
I'm good at that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, well, thanks for having me. This was
Anything
fun.
else?
I think so. I'm trying to think. I feel like normally we ask more questions.
I followed through with two that you normally ask.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, you live in Tonganoxie now?
Yeah, I returned.
Okay. Did you have any opinion on the Tyson issue that happened last semester? Or, sorry, last semester, last fall?
It was something that I was kind of torn on because I work in the agricultural industry now. I work for crop insurance, and so I work indirectly for farmers. And so it was something that I was kind of torn on because I could see the economic benefits that it would provide, but I just didn't feel like it was the right thing for our community. And maybe I'm kind of selfish too, living here. I didn't want that in my backyard. I went to school at Emporia. And so, we had IBP down there when I was in school, and, Tuesdays and Thursdays or whatever it was, the whole town smelled horrible. There was a lot of transient labor. There was just, there was a lot of things that come with a plant like that they're not worth the economic benefit that, it brings to the town and to the jobs. And so I really wasn't on board with it. I felt like I could see both sides, but I honestly felt like it wasn't going to be a good fit for our community. We don't have the unemployment here that a lot of other communities do, and so we really didn't need all those jobs. And I was afraid real estate values would go down, and there was just so many things. I felt like the 1,500 jobs, it wasn't worth the burden that it was going to bring to the town. So I was really relieved when they said it wasn't going to come here. I fully appreciate that people need to be fed and that it has to come from somewhere. You have to have these plants somewhere. And selfishly, I didn't want it in my town, but I knew that it was going to go somewhere. So I was relieved. I thought it was a good plant, just not for Tonganoxie. Well, and I was so surprised. I thought I'd missed something when I saw everybody posting on Facebook one day. They were like, "Oh, Tyson's coming to Tonganoxie." I was like, "How did I miss that?" But it had just been announced like an hour before that, and they were having the meeting the following day. So yeah, nobody knew about it, but yet, real estate had already been purchased, and there was a lot that had already gone on that nobody was aware of. And so I think that's kind of what started everything off on the wrong foot. Was why would you do all that and not present it to the community? And I built the brick there in front of the driveway, this driveway right here. I think I did some of the brick back along the back walkway too. So we laid that. Took care of the horses. He had horses out here and a cat. So yeah, I just kind of did whatever. And I mowed and mowed. I was out here probably 2 or 3 days a week. It had been 20 years since I'd been out here, because I moved away for a lot of years and then came back just a few years ago. So yeah, it had been 20 years since I had been here. And I came walking up the back walkway and was like, oh my gosh, so much has changed. And then when I went inside the house, when I first came out here for the first time, I thought, this place, you couldn't salvage it. And he's not very common. Like in this town, it's a lot of farmers. It's a lot of, kind of what you would expect in a small Kansas town. So for him to come out here, people, people didn't know what to think about him, but he's just been so awesome. He's been so good for the community.